All right, that groaning sound in the background is a guy making fun of me, I guess, at this moment. He is Cedric Golden. This is buy or sell. This is the way it works. 5 statements are made. These are buy or sell statements. You can agree or disagree, scream out loud, or laugh all you want. It's not flipping houses or trading crypto. We just call it buy or sell.
2 media legends, 5 topics, and a moment of jackassery. This is buy or sell. That's buy or freaking sell.
All right, here we go. Buy or sell number 1. Buffalo is a scarier playoff team than Dallas. Buy or sell.
Painful, just painful, but I'm buying.
Oh, boy.
Defense and a good running game travels in the playoffs, guys. They just do. And the Buffalo Bills have 2 good running backs in James Cook and Josh Allen. I mean, that guy's a running back playing quarterback. And the Cowboys are pretty scary as long as they're playing at the house, but they don't always show up on the road. And the playoffs for them are going to open up on the road. And they never had a pulse yesterday, and they made Cook look like Barry Sanders. That guy's not even the best running back in his own family. And I still like Dallas to go into New Orleans or Detroit and win in the first round, but to ask them to play in San Francisco or even a hampered Philly team to win in those environments worries me. And the one thing that people aren't talking about coming out of that game is Zach Martin is one of the most valuable players on that team. When he got hurt, they stopped running it, and they couldn't control those big boys in the middle, Fletcher Cox, Jalen Carter. It was a feast, a field day on Dak Prescott. So they've got time to fix this, but Buffalo's a team that none of the AFC teams want to see in the playoffs because they're good enough to beat anybody on any given Sunday. So despite Dallas's wealth of weaponry on offense and the playmakers on defense who didn't show up in Buffalo, I'm buying.
For the record, Sad, I did go off on how incompetent Dallas immediately becomes when Zach Martin is not playing. I mean, it just shuts down almost instantly. But that said, that doesn't excuse a defense for getting shredded, for almost 300 yards rushing. I mean, tell me the last time you've ever, this is impossible. It's a loaded question. Who wins a game 31-10 by completing 7 passes? How does that happen?
It just in today's game it doesn't.
You could pick out a middle school game, and you go to a middle school game, and they don't win 31-10 with 7 completions.
Josh Allen turn over the ball yesterday because he didn't throw. Josh Allen's a turnover machine.
Yeah,
but when he throws, if I throw it 7 times, I might not throw a pick.
I'm going to barely sell this. That Buffalo is scarier, but I'm going to qualify by saying they remind me of each other. I don't know when to bet on either one of them, right? Because they can both be that good. They have that much upside, and they can both be pretty bad. Dallas just not showing up yesterday. It blows my mind. You said a no pulse. They didn't get off the plane. Micah Parsons went to Niagara Falls. I don't know where Mumbling Mike was. He got some beer and sausage. I don't know what's going on. Why they just can't even show up to play is beyond me. Buffalo can. I'm not all in though. I don't trust them. That's a team that a week ago should have lost to Kansas City, and we'd be having a different conversation. They would have been a no-show last night as well had that been the case. I'm not ready to mail in on Dallas yet. I cannot figure out why a team can be so good, 15-0 good, record-setting good at home, and just doesn't even care to play on the road. I don't get it. I really don't. But I'll barely say I sell this, that I'll assume Dallas is still scarier.
And if they play the Detroit Lions that I watched yesterday, they're going to lose to the Lions in Detroit. They play them in the playoffs.
You know what? I'm going to add something. Here's what I'm starting to wonder about Dallas. There's not many teams that can do it. Arizona did it to them, and then Buffalo did it to them. And what they did was, at times, it looked like football from 1975. They had a fullback in the game, and they ran right at Dallas. They ran right at them. And if you go back and take a look at what Arizona did, Arizona just ran right at them. Now, I don't know how many teams in the NFL can even do that, but I'm starting to wonder if that is not just a road issue. I'm wondering if that is how you're built issue, because they both did it to Dallas pretty easily. They just gashed them, just shoved them around and gashed them. So I don't know. I wonder about that.
I'm going to tell you, Jeff, the one thing those two games have in common, Arizona and this last one, those teams got out in front of Dallas early.
Yeah.
And when the Cowboys are forced to play catch-up, they're not a good catch-up team. They may be the best front-running team since the Chiefs when Mahomes took over, because once those guys got in front, it was over. But when you got them playing from behind and you know Dak's going to throw, it's a little bit different than Dallas working the clock. So they're a good front-running team, but, boy, if they get behind, I don't have a lot of faith in them.
Yeah.
Buy or freaking sell.
Mike McCarthy is coaching the Dallas Cowboys in 2024. Buy or sell?
Man, I got to buy. The old man loves him. The old man loves Mike McCarthy. We couldn't even put this game on Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy didn't really get a chance to get in his play calling bag because the Cowboys couldn't protect. They couldn't protect. The biggest issue is Dan Quinn is going to have another head coaching job, and who do you bring in to coach the defense? But I really believe that Mike McCarthy's got another year at least in Dallas. He thinks he can get Jerry thinks that Coach McCarthy can get him back to that, I quote, glory hole days of the 1990s.
There it is.
Keeping it real, he's been a great play caller this season, better than Kellen Moore was last season. Suddenly brought out the worst in the Cowboys, and Zach getting hurt didn't help, but he didn't seem to have a plan B. I think the Cowboys have shown Dak Prescott's got a lot left in the tank. They got to figure out how the running game. Tony Pollard's got to be better. They got to get a better running back. And if Martin comes back healthy, the offensive line is going to be fine, relatively young, as long as Tyron Smith holds up on the left side. But I think McCarthy's going to be back. This could be, what are they now, Jeff? What are they, 11-5? What's their record? 11-4?
Who, Dallas?
I don't even know.
10-4.
10-4. So
Yep.
they're going to win. They're on the verge of having a third straight 12-win season, and that's been a minute since that's happened. So, you still got to give that caveat of an extra game, but 12 wins is 12 wins. So, yeah, I think he's done enough. Is he Tom Landry? No. Is he Jimmy Johnson? No. Is he Barry Switzer? Maybe. They hope, because Barry won a Super Bowl. But, I think he will be back next year. I'm buying.
I'm selling. He's Jason.
Easy, Tiger. What?
No. He's Jason Garrett 2.0. I mean, no, let me say this. You may be right. Jerry Jones, look, the Dallas Cowboys window is closing, and it's going to slam shut in 2 years. It's going to be mostly shut. Like you could barely get a finger through there next year because they're going to have to start paying people even more. Zach Martin got paid. They've got a Dak Prescott issue to decide. They've got a Micah Parsons issue to decide. He'll be the highest paid defensive player of all time. They've got a CeeDee Lamb issue to decide. So the window, I mean, I don't care if it's Cedric Golden coaching the Dallas Cowboys in a year or two. They're going to be pretty bad. So look, I'm going to. So Jerry might keep him around. I don't think he should. I'm going to stick with my July and August assessment. They play in the NFC Championship game, or he should be fired. Here we are in December, and I'm going to say they need to play in the NFC Championship game, or he should be fired. That's a team with enough talent right now to play for the NFC Championship. They don't do that, I wouldn't bring you back. Period. Doesn't deserve it.
And, it's been.
I know they've had winning seasons. That's what I'm saying. He's Jason Garrett 2.0, and that's fine if you compare that to the past of the Cowboys. But if you look at the current roster, and you just take that roster and remove the head coach, that is a roster that's one of the 2 or 3 or 4 best in all of football. That should get you to an NFC Championship game. Anything less, and the other thing is, they're healthy. At least I think Zach Martin, will be healthy. They're healthy. They don't have an excuse. I don't give Mumbling Mike an excuse.
And they have playmakers at most positions. Solid offensive line.
Yep.
Dak Prescott's not a top 5 quarterback, but he's having a top 5 year. CeeDee Lamb's a top 5 receiver. Michael Parsons is one of the best pass rushers. So. And Stephon Gilmore, even at his age, at 34, is still a premier corner. So they have superstars. They're not as talented as the 49ers, I don't think. But they do have superstars. And the worst-case scenario for them should be to lose to the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Because right now, they're better than the Eagles.
Yes. Yeah. I think they're better than... Roster-wise, they're better than everybody but the 49ers and the Baltimore Ravens. I'll tell you a crazy scenario that I'm thinking through, because in a minute I might argue for this guy for MVP. I'll lose the argument, but I might try. I don't know anybody that's hotter right now than Baker Mayfield. What if Dallas drew Baker Mayfield in Tampa Bay and they lost?
Oh, yeah. That could happen.
Yeah.
Baker's on fire.
He's on fire.
Now.
He is carrying a dog team right now. He's carrying that team.
That team has one superstar on offense, and it's Mike Evans. And Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans are making beautiful music together right now.
Yeah.
Buy or freaking sell.
Quinn Ewers is the second best quarterback in the college football Final Four. Buy or sell.
I'm buying, and it's close. I really love what Quinn has done for the Horns this year, but I'm putting Washington's Michael Penix slightly ahead of him. I'll stick Jalen Milroe 3rd and J.J. McCarthy of Michigan 4th. Don't get me wrong, guys. These are 4 really good quarterbacks. But Penix has been on another level all year. 33 touchdown passes, only 9 picks. He leads the country with 4,218 yards passing. And he's completing 66% of his passes. It's a really tough matchup for the Horns because their calling card is that you can't run on them. They got the 4th best run defense in college football. Washington doesn't care about that. They're going to come out firing. So Quinn hasn't been bad. 21 TD, 6 picks. Remember, he missed 3 games, but he's completing 71% of his passes. The difference, I think Penix makes the big throws slightly better than Quinn. But the one thing I'll say about Quinn is he shows up for the big games. He lit up OU. After those 2 picks, he lit up Bama. He smashed Tech. He smashed Oklahoma State. Hell, he lit up Washington last season in the Alamo Bowl. Threw for 369 yards, and it would have been well over 400 if Xavier Worthy doesn't drop 2 touchdown passes. So that's going to be the most interesting quarterback matchup of all the bowl season is Michael Penix v. Quinn Ewers. I'm giving Penix the edge because he just seems like he's been on a entirely different level. He's been wonderful all season.
Yeah, I'm buying too. It's it's almost. I'm buying because the body of work of Quinn Ewers is better than Jalen Milroe. That kid has reinvented himself. It's impressive, but he can't. I don't know about J.J. McCarthy. He hands the ball off 36 times. So I guess that's what they ask him to do. So I hate to diss the guy. Yeah, I don't put Quinn Ewers. There's nobody in the same category as Michael Penix Jr. in arm strength. It's ridiculous. The ball looks like it's shot out of a cannon, and he's fearless too. He's ahead of Quinn Ewers. 1, he's that much more talented. 2, he's played better competition. He's beaten Oregon twice. I don't think Texas could do that. I'm not sure Texas beats Oregon once. He's beat them twice. In fact, the second time around, he was even better. So I think he's by far the best quarterback in the tournament. But yeah, Quinn Ewers, He deserves. I mean, I feel perfectly fine putting him at second. He's done everything asked of him. So he's had a really good year. He's a good thrower. Not a great arm, not great moving around. He's learned to slide a little bit more, but he's done everything they've asked, and that's distribute the ball. And he's pretty fearless himself. I think both of these guys. I think both of them show up. I mean, it's a real treat because I think they played enough football. Both of them are fearless. I assume their coaches are going to not change a bit. They're going to come out throwing it all over the place. So I think we get a treat in that semifinal.
You know, the one thing I like about Quinn is Texas fans don't worry about Quinn in the big games. They worry about him against Houston and against Wyoming.
Yeah,
those are the games where he struggled. But Quinn Ewers, when the lights are the brightest, he seems to play his best. So that should make the Texas Longhorn fan base feel a lot more comfortable about and confident going into this game. I give Texas a very good chance to beat Washington in the Sugar Bowl.
I don't.
Ah!
I don't.
Hater, Jeff Ward.
Well, no, I mean, I'm just saying.
They're going to get blown out. You think they're going to get blown out?
Do I think Texas gets blown out? I think we'll know that in about a quarter and a half. I do.
I just don't think no one blows them out, though. That's the one thing.
No, I know that.
These ones don't get worked by anybody.
Well, they haven't played anybody that can work them. I mean, they played one. They've played one really good passing attack, and they lost, and that's Oklahoma. And that's a stretch to say they're a good passing attack. Look, I think Texas can do to Washington what Washington can do to Texas, and that's beat the back end of their defense. Their secondary, neither one of them are very good, and they're playing against good receivers and good quarterbacks. I don't trust. The only time I've seen Texas this year in a throwing shootout, they lost. They couldn't. Their back end, their defense couldn't keep them in a game. They got beat. You give this guy the same windows you give Oklahoma, and you lose badly. There's just too many good players running around for Washington with Michael Penix throwing to him. Dylan Gabriel beat Texas by himself. Michael Penix Jr.'s got four other dudes that can beat you. I think it's a bad matchup for Texas. It's sort of a bad matchup for Washington. I just think the Washington offense is even better than the Texas offense, and neither one of them play good pass defense. Neither. So, in a quarter and a half, if Washington's running away from Texas, look out, because they'll keep the gas going. I tried to tell Texas fans, you need to watch that Oregon game. And Washington was about as impressive for 3 quarters as you could be against a really, really good Oregon team. There. Does that work or not work?
Hey, that works.
Okay.
That works.
I didn't
that was an educated, lucid, passionate, passionate explanation of why.
I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong. I could easily see Texas scoring 52 and Washington scoring 50. I could also see a scenario in which Washington scores 55 and Texas scores 35. It can get away when Washington plays. It can get away from you in a hurry.
And the difference is, I think Texas has a pass rush, and Washington doesn't get to the quarterback as
well.
That
is true. Help. I mean, this game will be, if everyone out there overanalyzing this game, if you want to analyze anything, the game is really going to come down to what kind of pressure Texas can get. Because if you don't get to him, you saw what Dylan Gabriel did to Texas. When you don't get to him, Michael Penix Jr. will make you pay in the worst kind of way. I mean, this is the Oklahoma passing attack on steroids. You don't get to this guy, and you're back into.
And Gabriel gets. Yeah, that's true. Gabriel gets around a little bit better than Penix, though.
Yeah.
He's a better runner.
Yeah, but Michael Penix Jr. has the kind of weapons Texas has, if not better. They have the second best receiver in the game today.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, Romadouce is that guy.
He's that guy.
And they've got 2 receivers and that are only like 10 or 11 sets of receivers that both went over 1,000 yards. So Jalen Polk and Romadouce are 2 of those guys.
Yeah, they're ridiculous.
2 media legends, 5 topics, and a moment of jackassery. This is Buy or Sell. That's buy or freaking sell.
All right, a couple more buy or sells here for you. San Francisco running back Christian McCaffrey will be this year's MVP. Buy or sell?
I think he's the best player in the NFL right now. And he was electric on Sunday against the horrible Cardinals. But I'm selling. This award just rarely goes to a running back. And not to say he's not deserving, but I think it's going to end up going to a quarterback. Somebody like Lamar Jackson or Dak Prescott or Jalen Hurts. Those guys are the ones who are quarterbacks, and the award is always a quarterback's award. I think Earl Campbell won it. I think Barry Sanders may have won it.
Adrian Peterson won it.
AD's the last one
to
win it, I think, Jeff. Yep. I think Adrian's the last running back.
He is.
To win this award. So, not to say he's not deserving. I mean, he runs behind the best left tackle in football in Trent Williams, and he's on one of the most balanced teams in the league. And he is easily the best all-around running back in football. It's not even close. But I think it's going to end up going to a quarterback, so I sell.
What about his own quarterback, Brock Purdy, yesterday saying, give the Christian McCaffrey the MVP? He's out there campaigning for him, even.
Well, you think the voters are in the room going, I wonder what Brock Purdy thinks about this.
I'm going to change my vote now. Brock Purdy said to do it. No, I don't. You think Dak Prescott is out? You think Dak Prescott is out of it?
I think so. I think he played himself out of it yesterday, and I really still think that and Lamar Jackson is moving up the charts. It's becoming glaringly apparent that the Baltimore Ravens are the best team in the AFC right now.
Yes,
and the best player on the best team in the AFC is probably going to get it over the best running back, even though he is the best player on the best team in the NFC. So. It's going to be an interesting vote. If I was voting, I would definitely give it to Christian McCaffrey. But the question wasn't should he win it, but that he would win it, which I don't think he will.
Yeah, I'm going to sell it too. I'm trying to remember because I think it's possible. Two guys on the same team finish 1 and 2. And I thought, man, I wonder how many times that has happened. And I think it's happened 3 other times. In 2 of the 3 were Marshall Faulk, Kurt Warner, Marshall Faulk years, where they both finished 1 and 2 for the MVP. And that was a long time ago, obviously. So it hadn't happened very often that 2 guys from the same team would finish 1-2. But I think it's possible here because but I don't think there's anything now getting in the way of the 49ers nor the Ravens. I think they both just start to pad that resume and just get on a collision course for the Super Bowl. So I'm going to sell. He probably doesn't win it because all we're going to end up talking about every week that the Ravens do something like they did last night against Jacksonville, Lamar Jackson's going to get more love. Every time the 49ers put up 30-plus, it's going to be about Brock Purdy. So I think they steal the headlines. I sell. I don't think he wins it, although I think he does. I think he deserves it.
Do you think Purdy's going to finish top 5?
I do. I think he's going to finish top 2. I think he's going to beat out Christian McCaffrey to be the MVP.
That's huge.
I don't think I don't know that it's hard to say somebody doesn't deserve it. I mean, they're the best team in the league. He's also surrounded by the best talent, so I hate to hold it against the guy. He's doing everything asked of him.
But I've seen guys surrounded with talent that didn't get it done. He's bringing it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I love what he's done for that team this year.
No doubt. I think here's an interesting way to look at it. If Brock Purdy isn't on the field, is San Francisco still dangerous? And Christian McCaffrey is, and he's not playing quarterback. Does everyone have if you remove the starting quarterbacks from the Baltimore Ravens and the San Francisco 49ers, are they still both really good?
I think the 49ers would survive because they have elite running back and an elite pass protector. So they'd be in a lot better shape than the Ravens.
I would make an argument No one will hear me. Everyone will think I'm crazy. But I think an argument, he won't win it. I'm not pretending that he will. But I can make a intellectual argument that there's few people in the game today that have made as much of a difference for their team as Baker Mayfield has for Tampa Bay. Okay, Brock Purdy is driving a bus with, all sorts of stuff. The Ravens have a ton of talent. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't. They suck. I assumed the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to be one of the 6 worst teams in football, and because of Baker Mayfield, they go into Green Bay yesterday. They have no business winning in Green Bay, and they won in Green Bay because of him. He is as meaningful, if not more, as a difference maker to any team in the league as anybody this year.
And you know what? They are better this year than they were with Tom Brady last year.
Right. Yes. Agreed.
I mean, they just are.
Yeah.
He's playing at a higher level than Brady did in his last season.
Yeah, it is. I mean, he won't. I think he gets some love, but this is a bad team that's overachieving because of one guy, in my opinion. He's as valuable to them as anyone else is to their team in the game today.
Are they going to win that division, or do you think of the Saints?
I don't know. For Dallas fans, for Dallas fans, I think Dallas fans would prefer Tampa Bay because I think the Saints could run at Dallas if in fact Dallas's run defense is a problem. I think that could potentially be a dangerous matchup. But neither one of them are any good. So
Dallas very capable of going into either place and losing. After what I saw yesterday, those are some teams, and those running backs for those teams are not bad. I mean, Alvin Kamara and Jamal Williams, that'll work. Yeah. And Rashad White has quietly had a Pro Bowl season for Tampa.
Yeah, I just guess Dallas would prefer to play Tampa Bay, but then again, you're playing a hot quarterback.
Buy or freaking sell.
All right, final buy or sell. Michigan's Jim Harbaugh is coaching the Chargers in 2024. Buy or sell.
I've thought about this one. This is the one that has taken me the longest to think about, but I'm going to go ahead and buy it. And it was between him and Belichick because I thought the Chargers would be a good fit for Belichick. But then, Jeff, we started talking about how old Belichick is, 71 years old. And do you really think he's still got enough left in the can? So I think Harbaugh will follow Pete Carroll's lead and get out of town one step ahead of the posse before the NCAA, the slow-moving NCAA, catches up to him and gets him where it hurts. Michigan will pay for his sins, but he'll be long gone. He'll go to San Diego. He will inherit a top 10 caliber quarterback. He will inherit a defense with Derwin James, Khalil Mack, and one of the Bosa's. I get him mixed up. I think it's Joey. I think.
Yeah, who's always hurt, though, but yeah.
Who's always hurt.
Always hurt.
So he's going to inherit all kinds of talent on both sides of the ball. And Austin Eckler's having a bad year because that offense just doesn't have a clue under the – finally, this is the first time we've talked since they fired Brandon Staley about about how many weeks have we been calling? Last year we're calling for his scout. It's finally here. Finally, they're a better team, addition by subtraction. So Harbaugh makes the most sense. He's a quarterback himself. He will help. He will help Justin Herbert. He will be a mentor, a good coach, a good teacher. They'll probably get rid of Kellen Moore, and I think the Chargers will be back competing for playoff spots next year with Jim Harbaugh as the head coach. I'm buying.
Yeah, you know what all that means? You know what that means? That means Bill Belichick, who wants to coach again next year, is not going to have a job.
Unless he wants to go to Carolina.
You think Carolina would hire Bill Belichick?
Maybe.
I don't.
I've heard that they're dangling the GM title as well. They're cheap, and the owner's an idiot. And
he's a nut.
He hasn't been videotaped in a massage parlor getting special courtesies, but still an idiot. I would say the odds against that are slim and none. I don't think he wants to go to that dumpster fire, but What other jobs will there be? I think Saleh might get fired in New York. He may go to New York.
As of Friday, I thought Bill Belichick was going to be the next coach of the Chargers. This is no lie. I am sitting at a luncheon, and a guy next to me is on his phone, and he said, well, my brother just got fired. I thought, well, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. What does your brother do? He coaches for the Chargers? Oh, okay. And so we chatted. He wasn't all that surprised. His brother was not Brandon Staley, but his brother was on the coaching staff. So we chatted. I said, hey, would they hire Belichick? He said, no. Oh, okay. So I decided then I'm going to change my opinion because I thought Bill Belichick would be a fit in with the Chargers. But you're right. I mean, I started thinking about this. It's hard to not look at him and think, man, you really look and sound that old. It's awkward. And I hate to be an ageist, but I think it's going to work against him if, in fact, and I'm not convinced that Jim Harbaugh is going to leave Michigan because I'm not convinced they're going to get in any trouble because I'm not convinced anybody has any rules anymore. So if Jim Harbaugh leaves Michigan, I agree. It will be to coach the Chargers, and it will be a good gig, and he'll do a good job. I think that's a good fit for the Chargers, even better than Belichick. So I'm still iffy on whether I think Harbaugh leaves Michigan because I think they've made it clear to him they'll go to bat for him and spend all the money and then give him whatever he wants. They don't care. I mean, there's no ethics anymore anyway. So, but if he does leave, it makes too much sense to coach the Chargers. There's too much upside with the Chargers. I think it's the best job out there that could be available. Even a better job than coaching the Cowboys, which I think might become available too. So, yeah, I'm buying that one too. I'm buying. I just think it means that Bill Belichick wants to go and win 17 more games so he can get that record. And sadly, the old man, remember what I said before about what was that scene in Trading Places with Dan Aykroyd looking in the window and it's raining on him? I'm afraid Bill Belichick is going to be looking in the window with a cardboard box and no one's going to hire him.
Oh, my God.
Sell, Mortimer, sell.
Oh, my God. That's got to be sad. Do you think he really wants that record? You think he wants?
I do. I mean, I guess. I mean, I can't understand what he's saying.
He's got the Super Bowls. Who cares about the wins? He's won the games that matter. He's got all the Super Bowls.
He's 17 away from being the all-time winningest coach. Don't you think that he's sitting there thinking, I'm better than this. I'm good at what I do. I just need a better place. If you just give me somebody that's not named Billy Zappi or something like that, I can go and give me 2 years. I'll get my 17 wins, and I'll get my place in the Hall of Fame where I'll be the all-time winningest coach because that's a record I don't think many people are going to coach long enough to ever get there again. So I could see Belichick while he's by himself because his girlfriend ran off and stole his house. I could see him sitting around over a scotch thinking, if I get to the all-time wins, no one's ever going to touch that again because no one's going to be able to coach that long. That's what I think.
That's true.
And I don't know that I would blame him if he sat down in my office and I was an owner and he said, "Hey, look, you know what? I'm going to bust my ass because I want this record that'll never be touched again." I'd say, yeah, I kind of get it, old man.
And if the old man goes to coach the Chargers in L.A., you can't dress like that in L.A. He'll get arrested before he gets to the stadium.
I don't know what he's going to do. I mean, I guess they're just going to be smaller sweatshirts with more dirt. I don't know what he's going to do. I just want someone to give him a nicer dress shirt. He's got the same dress shirt from.
I sent you a text last week.
You did. I know. When you sent that, I opened it up thinking like the guy's going to look like Tom Brady or something. And yes, it was an improvement. It looked like he had combed his hair and the grease was out of it. He didn't have lice anymore. But it still wasn't that great. It wasn't like he was GQ.
It looked like he was going to his grandson's graduation.
Okay.
That was fine.
Yeah. It was like, I think it might have been a clip-on tie.
That's fine, too.
All right, man. It's always good talking to you, Sid.
Later, man.
This